Alrighty guys, so kicking off this video with a super simple project. We're using the Trampa doormat, and for additional supplies you're just going to be needing some black paint and a paintbrush of your choice, and this is all going to be freehand. It's super simple and easy, and honestly guys, you can find so many funny doormat ideas on Google if you type in doormat ideas, I guess you could say. I just think that some of them are so cute. So basically what I did was I used a paintbrush, and I used the width of the paintbrush to actually do the letter, like the line blocking on each letter. So I spelled out the word hello in the bottom left-hand corner. So when someone goes up to your door, they're gonna be greeted with the word hello, of course. So I just used my black paint, and with this kind of doormat texture, I suggest kind of stippling the paint down into the actual mat because I find that you get a better color payoff that way. And I just simply went all the way around, and then I let it dry, and then I did one more coat of it on there just to really get it locked in there. And as you can see, I'm kind of pressing and stippling downwards to get that color payoff to be really dark and very opaque. And then I flipped the mat over, and I'm gonna put goodbye on the opposite side. That way when your guest leaves, they're gonna read goodbye in their direction when they leave. So it's kind of like a double meaning doormat, I guess you could say. I think it's really cute and fun. So I did goodbye on this side. Again, I freehanded it, but if you want to, you could get like letter stencils, or you can just print out the word and kind of just trace around it, cut it out, and have a little bit more of a simplistic look. But I just freehanded it, and I think it turned out great. This is probably one of my favorite projects in the video for sure, and I'm using the Stockholm 2017 tray, which is actually currently on sale at Ikea for $24.99, but I did have one in my own collection, so I just pulled that one out and used it. I'm also using 3 hairpin legs from Amazon and some strong bond adhesive, which I will link those below for you guys. And all I started off by doing was flipping over my tray, and I'm going to be gluing down these hairpin legs in a kind of triangular shape. And what I suggest doing is adding glue to the bottom side, because essentially these are supposed to be screwed onto like your item, but the tray is not that thick, so I just decided to glue it down, and then make sure that you add glue into those holes and kind of make sure it overflows over the top, which is kind of going to act as almost like a reinforcement for that leg to stay on there. But this glue is super strong bond. I actually buy it at Michael's. It's like, I live by this. I use it all the time on my projects. I think it's amazing. But just get it in those holes, glue it down in all 3 sections, and then I suggest just letting it dry overnight. And then once you are completely done, you have a perfect little side table or nightstand, whatever you want to use this for. It could even be a plant stand. Now this is a little bit of a different project for my channel, but I thought it was cute for like a boys' room or something, so I'm using the Lindronde circular object and whatever the name of this bag is, and also for additional supplies, just some scissors and hot glue. So I'm pulling out the Lindronde circular object, and I'm constructing it. You just have to twist it into the base, and then once that is done, I pulled apart my little market bags, and these are just little mesh like market bags you could take with you, I guess, to like the farmer's market or something. And I'm actually cutting the whole net portion off of the handle, and we're going to be using both of these, so make sure to cut it really nice and cleanly. So I just use my fabric scissors and I cut around to create this net, and when you take it off, it's actually a rectangle shape, which is perfect because we're going to be gluing the rectangle shape around the base of the circle, because we're going to be creating a little like cute chic minimal basketball hoop, and you're just going to go around the outside edge of this and glue it down. I just add like a little tack of glue at every intersection, and then I glue the opposite intersection onto it. It's pretty self-explanatory, and I actually think I say self-explanatory so much I need to make merch that says it's pretty self-explanatory, because it seems to be my favorite thing to say, and you guys have been suggesting that in the comment section, which I think is so funny. And once it is completely attached, I just glued the start and the finish kind of up towards the base of the basketball hoop. And then what I did was I glued together the net so that it created a circle, because at the moment it was kind of had an open back, and you're just gonna glue the pieces together. It's really easy. You're just gonna connect them up, and you're going to basically stitch this back together. And then what I did was I cut the little bottom portion off, and I cut in between each of the little like squares that it has on the net. That way you have a clean edge. And then lastly, I used the handle portion because the net at the bottom just looked kind of unfinished. So I used the handle portion kind of as a little bit of a sealant, I guess, for the bottom, or just to make it look a little bit cleaner. So I just wrapped that around the bottom portion, cut off the excess, and it just overall gave it a little bit more of a finished look. And then all you have to do is glue on a little string to hang it up, and I suggest gluing this as high as you can, that way it doesn't stick that far off the wall. And saving my personal favorite project for last, we are starting off with this woven snitted basket. I think this is pretty new to Ikea's collection, or not super new, but definitely within the last year. And I'm also using one of the Hema hanging cords, and for additional supplies, you're gonna need wire cutters and some hemp cording as well. So I'm starting off with my wire cutters, and I'm basically gonna be cutting the handles off this basket. You could leave them on if you wanted to, but I really wanted it to have the appearance that this was created as a pendant light shade and not a basket turned into a pendant light shade. So you just have to go across and cut these off. I suggest wire cutters because they kind of grip onto this caning a little bit easier, and it just cuts it super simply. And then all you have to do is just pull off all those pieces and kind of tug up a little bit. There are a couple of nails in there. Once you pull it off, you have these handles, and I actually kept these handles because I can definitely use these on future projects if I need handles somewhere, and just kind of recreate this sort of caning effect. So I did the same thing on the opposite side by taking off the handles. Once those handles were removed, I flipped the basket over, and we're gonna have to create a bit of an opening because these sections at the bottom are too close together to fit the cord through. So all I did was I used my wire cutters to just cut in that downward motion directly diagonal across from each other. So I cut out two sections, as you can see here, cut out 1 and 2, and it's super simple to cut these out. You're just creating a little bit of a larger gap. Then I flipped it completely 180, and I did the opposite side as well by cutting out the inside section here just to create an opening where we can put the cord. This is kind of what it looks like once those are done. So this is the cord that we're using, and I'm gonna feed it up through the bottom and up through the top, I guess you could say. And then once it's all the way up, I'm putting it back down. We're wrapping this around the center section so that way we can get the light really centered in there. And I flipped it over in order just to tie it right at the base here. And then I'm actually going to feed the cord back through so that you're able to hang it. So you're gonna feed it back through so that the cord is going through the top portion of the basket, and then the light's gonna be in there, and then the cord is on the top. And I used a little bit of hemp cording up here just to kind of blend in and kind of camouflage with the actual basket, and I just tied it in a couple of knots, that way it stayed nice and secure up there. And then I screwed in an Edison bulb, and you have a perfect little hanging pendant light.